stuff, not just for these two franchises, these two storied players and the elephant in the room. Could this potentially be the last time we see the greatest NBL player ever in Bryce Cotton in a Wildcats jersey? Peter Hooley, Leonard Copeland, welcome in. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Game 3, 2 Blue Bloods. It does not get better than this.
Oh, this is exciting. Again, you've got two of the best clubs we've seen in the last decade, especially in terms of success rate going head-to-head. The last time they met in a post-game was a championship series. The one before that, a championship series. Now only one of them is going to continue their quest for a champion. But Copes, man, it's great to see you.
Wow, thanks, guys. Yeah. Look, two of the best teams, two of the best shooters. Let's stop talking. It's all about getting down and who wants it.
Hold up.
Let's stop 29 minutes left.
Look, bro, let's stop talking. We don't need to do this show. Let's tip it up and go at it right now.
We've been working up here for an hour, man. And you've been down here sitting, talking, schmoozing.
I've been talking to Larry, so you just better be quiet.
Let's look at how we got here, the finals tree. 4 teams left, 2 games left until we've got some grand finalists.
I love a series. The series brings the most out of champions. You've got to win multiple times, but now it comes down for all 4 teams to just 40 minutes. Forget history, forget momentum, forget all of that. You're in a dogfight for 40 minutes. We look at the different results here. Chris Goulding, 41 points. Melbourne ran away with it, and then they fell apart in the seconds. None of that matters. Absolutely nothing else matters but the next 40 minutes.
Hey, you know what? Now the coaches get to decide what's going to happen. Is John really going to play small ball? Is Dean Bickerman going to put Jack White at the free throw line? Is he going to be aggressive? We just need to see what's going to happen.
There is stories galore through this one. You talk about the Jack White stuff. It's Bryce Cotton versus CG. There is non-stuff stuff here, but the storyline out of game 2, aside from the Jack White free throws, or maybe it goes hand in hand, they did something to the bed which you're not allowed to say on TV at this time slot, but it wasn't good and it's an expensive cleaner.
We don't see that from Melbourne. No, that's the biggest loss for Dean Bickerman being up 20. The first time that's ever happened, and you see the biggest finals comes back in the last 10 seasons. The other one happened just the other week, but 2 20-point comes back, it's very hard.
But generally what happens is when Melbourne United lose like that, they come back extremely hard and they get a win. Now, you're playing against Perth. This is when it really matters. If Bryce Cotton gets hot, if Windler can play well, if these guys, the big guys, can play well, then Perth, they have a hard match.
You're right, though. Melbourne United normally do respond when they lay an egg like that, which they did in the second half. The issue is, in a series, in a 3-game series, I think that mentally scars a little bit more than a 5-game series. If this is a 5-game series, no problem. We'll just get it done eventually in one of the 2 of the last 3. Knowing that this is do or die, knowing that you had that game, you had 8 toes on the plane to a championship series, you didn't get it done, that can stick around for a little bit.
Melbourne United, we always talk about it. You make the grand final, it's considered a good season. You don't. Come on, Malcolm, get out of here.
Come on, Marcus.
Come on, Marcus, get out of here.
We're trying to
run a show here, man. If you make the grand final, people remember you called a success. You lose in the semi-final, they don't remember your name. Melbourne United losing in the semi-final last year. How much is that going to scar them coming in?
I said it in overtime as well. I think that's going to scar a little bit more. It's going to scar more, and I'm sure at least one of them's thought about it. The Josh Adams 3-ball in that corner 3 seasons ago, same position. You finished above them on the ladder. You got home court in a semi-final series. Right there where you see Tanner Krebs, everybody, Delhi, Chris Goulding's getting there. Josh Adams hit a fadeaway basically in the crowd, and he silenced and put Tassie into a championship series. Could it be deja vu, Copes?
You know what, though? When you've been through it, you've been through a storm, you know how to handle it. And Dean Bickerman's been through a lot of storms, so he's had success with a lot. He's failed a couple, but I got a lot of faith in him, his defensive strategies, the way he gets guys, the best out of his players. It's going to be a tough one, but I just think Melbourne United might have a little edge for it.
Well, you tell you what, Derek Rucker escaped the Brisbane storm. He came down here. He's about to cause a storm of his own in Melbourne. I'm sure of that as we approach the weekend. But, of course, it's a massive, massive game right now. Dylan Windler was the one for me. It wasn't just the big 27 points. It was when and how he did it. When Perth needed a hero, he stepped up and kept their season alive.
Absolutely, because we spoke about him. He needed to play well. That first game, he was terrible. Let's just be honest. He was terrible. For an import, you got to play better than that. He came out the second game and just put on a show. 27 points, 11 rebounds, but 4 block shots as well. And you're right, it was the way he did it. He shot the ball extremely well, and he's a very confident player.
And this is what he can do. This is what he's done his whole career. It's just about staying healthy long enough to show it. And you're right. Everyone has down games, poor performances. That game one would have hurt him. 4 points, 7 rebounds. He's probably the best rebounder in this matchup because of the length he has. He dominated game 2. Take away the 27 points, the 6 made threes. I think he's capable of doing that whenever he wants. It's the 4 assists, the 4 blocks, and this is why he can be a mismatch nightmare. If they put Jack White on him, he can probably match him athletic-wise, not with the length. He can bend over and tie his shoes standing up. Those arms are incredibly long. He's got some of the longest wingspan I've ever seen.
Have you been watching him? Have you been watching him?
He's got the longest wingspan I've ever seen. So if they try and play small with a Delhi or a Tanner Krebs, he's just going to rip the offense rebound over the top.
Bryce Cotton is guarded unlike any other player in the league. He is guarded like an NBA superstar, which we don't often see out there in a league like this. Ty Webster, there was an injury scare in game 1. Was it a real injury? I think so. You guys blamed it on the turnover. You guys were being brutal, saying he was trying to hide the turnover there. But he was ready to go in the second half.
And that was it. We know good and well he didn't hurt himself. Miraculously, he comes back that second game and plays great basketball. He was exceptional though. You know what I like about him? His attitude, the way he plays for the team, man. He's one of those players, if he comes out tonight and does the same thing, Melbourne could be in trouble.
He's a spark plug. He's an energizer bunny. But you hit the nail on the head there, Felix, where Bryce Cotton's going to demand all the attention. That's not going to change. So everyone else has to be ready to step up. So you know, it's much like how they used to guard Gazy. People are going to get open shots.
Hey,
every time.
Exactly right. It happened here. That's why this man's jersey's up in the rafters.
Oh, well, hold on. You're trying to say his jersey's up in the rafters just because he was on the same team as Andrew?
Because he balled out with his opportunity. He's one of the greatest we've ever seen. Have a look. He's one of the greatest we've ever seen.
Come on, man. Don't wrap me into this.
Hey, Gazer's jersey, it's up there because they had to guard Copeland on the same court.
There we go, Felix.
It's a two-way street, my man. It is a two-way street. Hey, role players, X factors, let's talk about superstars. Let's just roll back to game 1 because CG43 lit this venue alight. And it's not the first time he's done it against the Perth Wildcats. Averaging, you see him right there, averaging 43.5 or something astronomical against them at this arena.
Look, it's hard to say anything bad about CG43. He knows how to get himself open. He takes a lot of tough shots that other players couldn't make. But he's been doing it for so long that it's a part of his game.
And Pete, we spoke about it during overtime. When we went over to game 2, he had a great first quarter. But if you're sitting here telling me that Ben Henschel is locking down CG43 in a decider, that is no offense to Ben Henschel. This kid is going to play in the NBA. But right now, at this stage in his career, it's up to CG43 whether he goes off or not.
You're spot on. And again, a lot of these shots that we see, even that one there, yep, you got to manage to contest it, but it's on Chris Goulding. Some players, you can only do the best you can. It's up to them if they're going to make or miss. Chris Goulding's one of them, Bryce Cotton's the other. And to be perfectly honest, there's really only 2 game breakers in this league, and they're playing in this game. Bryce Cotton and Chris Goulding. When I say game breakers, have the ability to take over a game in 2 or 3 minute stretches and put it to bed. He can do it, Cotton can do it. I don't think anybody else can really do it.
We always say, I've said it time and time again, I've covered Chris Goulding in multiple decider games, and we always say, cometh the moment, cometh the man. It's his 300th game for United in this one, and I'll tell you what, you just get the feeling that the nightmare that Perth Wildcats fans, players, everyone alike, knowing that Chris Goulding could knock, their arch nemesis, could knock them out of the playoffs.
I tell you what, I can only go back to 2018. It was game 5 of the championship series on this floor against Adelaide, and I've never been more nervous for a game. And he looked at me and said, "What's wrong?" I said, "I just want to win so bad. I don't know if I'm ready for it." I said, "How are you so calm?" He says, "I love nothing more than this moment." And then he put that game to bed in the first quarter. Some people are built for big moments. This man was, we weren't. But that's exactly what we're going to get from Chris Goulding.
Felix didn't like that. Let me tell you something, man. He's one of those guys. You're right. He does it when he wants to do it. And people go, why not run him off the three-point line? He's so smart. He knows how to get his own shots. He'll bring himself down the floor, trail the offense, and he shoot it from half court. It's still going in.
We got 2 of the most exciting players in the league going head-to-head tonight. Bryce Cotton, MVP. The elephant in the room, is this potentially the last time we see in a Wildcats jersey? You can't see it right now on camera, but I will get on my knees and pray that that is not the case. But right now, all we can focus on is the present. Game 1, game 2, we haven't exactly seen the explosion we know he's capable of.
And it's interesting because normally we've seen him have a couple of poor periods in seasons, and it's normally just a base of missing shots. he's getting shots right now, but he's having to work really hard for him. So they are defending him really well, but we don't often see him well held for 3 games in a row. He might go through a rough shooting patch, but that's just on his own volition.
Well, you got to put a lot of give a lot of credit to Shea Ely. The way Shea Ely guards this guy, getting over screens, you know, not ever going under, locking and trailing, not denying him the ball. By the time he gets the ball, he's so tired that's why he's missing a lot of shots.
And I don't want to read too much into it, and then you look at Shea Ely, who's been the back-to-back Defensive Player of the Year, but that post-game, when they won in Game 2, everyone was probably going to him. They were giving Bryce Cotton a lot of hugs. Are we reading too much into that? I don't know, but they might not even know what he's doing next either.
Ty Webster yelled a quote that I cannot repeat from Wolf of Wall Street, "I'm not bleep leaving," which to me, you can read into that all you want, and we will during the week. But maybe it's neither here nor there right now. But Shea Ely, someone who's better at science than me, can explain the unstoppable object, immovable force theory. But that's what we get with Bryce Cotton and Shea. Who's going to get the better of them tonight? It's probably the storyline of the game in terms of the W and loss goal.
Well, again, because we talk about you just don't see Bryce Cotton well held for 3 consecutive games. He might have some off-shooting patches, but not well held. And what I love about Shea Ely is that he does it all with his chest. He slides through, he refuses to get screened. And
that's not what they say on Twitter.
Oh, exactly right. But he hasn't done it alone. I know you mentioned how good he's been, but in that game too, Ian Clark had a really good stretch on Bryce Cotton as well. So they're all running him off. He's seeing a crowd. But what I love about Bryce Cotton, he's the most unselfish superstar in the game. He had a 1-minute stretch in the 3rd quarter where he tried to force things a bit too much, and then he stopped doing that. He played through Windler, he played through Webster, and all of a sudden they got back into it. Not every superstar is built like Bryce Cotton.
If you're wondering why we're so guard heavy in our analysis of this, it's because the bigs may not even take part in this one. Keanu Pinder, is he in the arena? We're not sure right now. And that's got nothing to do with the quality of his play. It's just when John really went to small ball, Melbourne United didn't have an answer for it. They're going to have to find an answer for it. Playing Rob Lowe out there against that small ball lineup, that's not going to take place. How small are these lineups going to get?
Well, I tell you what, it's just a really bad series matchup-wise for Rob Lowe. He's had a terrific season, but if I'm Dean Vickerman, you can't afford to play him too much in this one. It's Marcus Lee who's been great, and then you have to play small. Maybe it's Kyle Bowen and Jack White. Maybe you get even deeper with Tanner Krebs at the 4. So there's something they're going to have to figure out there, because that small ball lineup, but also for John Riley's sake, don't pull that small ball line out in the first 3 minutes.
That's what I was going to ask you. It'd be really interesting to see how quickly he pulls the small, because Dino's a smart coach.
Correct.
Dino knows how to adjust and get things done. So you need to wait and save that poker card.
It's much like when teams start to play zone, and then you're playing them 2 days later, and they're like, okay, we had success in the zone. Let's play the zone. They've been practicing that. They would have had 2 days spent on the small ball. Do not pull that ace out too early, because they'll expose it. Wait until the time's right. Throw Christian Doolittle down there and then run with it.
There's going to be a lot of gamesmanship from both sides throughout this contest. That's what happens when you get this late into a series and a season. The big one for me, Jack White, 1 for 8 from the free throw line. You could make an argument that they're on their way to a grand final series if he hits his free throws in that game. He missed big ones in the clutch, and he didn't just miss them, he missed them bad.
Big opportunity for him here. I want to see him get to the free throw line in the first 2 minutes, and they don't have to go in, but as long as he shoots it with confidence.
Well, here we go, Pete.
He's feeling back.
Here we go.
That's what I want to see.
Oh, dear God. Oh, man. Oh, that's a bad omen right there.
I don't know.
Well, I'll tell you what, we got plenty coming up next. We're going to cut to a break. Game 3.
Everything has to go right now for the Cats. Someone has to bring this game alive. Windler maybe. Windler again. Big three.
The pride of a professional, Dylan Windler, getting it done when the Cats needed it most.
Windler has been amazing. Dylan Windler, remember his name.
What a game.
That was one for the ages.
In this type of environment, and it's what you live for as a player, I knew we were going to need the momentum and the crowd on our side to get some big stops down the stretch. So just trying to keep energizing them, keep the belief in the crowd, because I knew we had it on the floor.
Welcome back to John Cain Arena. All thanks to basketball.com.au. Can that man replicate his Game 2 heroics and push the Wildcats in what at the halfway point seemed an unlikely championship series? We welcome in Kelsey Brown. All thanks to basketball.com.au. The wash-up from Game 2, Southeast Melbourne and Illawarra.
Yeah, well, we know that both series are going to Game 3. Excellent news for the league. Game 3 tomorrow night, Illawarra versus Southeast Melbourne. Josh King, he was really interesting in his presser. He spoke about Derek Walton Jr. He played 30 minutes in his first game, 15 points, 11 assists. He was huge. In the second game, a little bit down on his minutes, 21 points. This is what Josh King had to say about him post-game.
He's sore. We knew he would be sore. I think he played 30 minutes the other night, and again, he trained really hard last week. I was joking with our assistants. I think he tried to tear his hamstring last week in practice. He was going so hard. So, yeah, he's sore. So, and he'll be ready to go on Wednesday night, though, I think.
I don't think it was so much as though that he was sore, rather than the bench was playing better. Angus Glover, Josh King showed he's not afraid to make the big decisions, even in finals, and it worked wonders. I love that about Josh King.
And that's a great thing that Josh King has up his sleeve. D-Welt's not working, Matt Hurt's pumping, Angus Glover's there as well. Matt Hurt, though, he's the one that I want to talk about. 6 shots he got up in Game 1, and then he had 30 points in Game 2. It was a huge turnaround. We discussed this in a game previously about his walk-up. He didn't shake hands with the Illawarra Hawks. Leonard, I want to know, have you had 6 shots in a game before and then turned around and been like, I'm going to drop 30? What is that mentality going into the next game?
Look, a lot of people think he's being selfish, but he's not. He's led this team in scoring the whole year. He needs the ball for them to win, and it was obvious in Game 2 when he came out and dropped 30 points. He wanted to prove a point to say, fellas, if you want to win this game, get on my back. I'm the man for it. And you showed how well he played on games.
He is the man, and there's a couple of men on the other side of things, Illawarra. Trey Cal and Tyler Harvey both popped off for 24 points apiece in the first game, but Trey Cal really had his worries in Game 2, Pete. He really struggled to get some points up. Justin Tatum, though, this is what I love about him. He's very honest. He'll back up his players, but he'll also say, this is what happened to Trey Cal in this game.
Basketball players have bad games, tough games. So he did a couple other positive things out there. He found guys on assists. He had to play a lot of minutes because at times Tyler was in foul trouble, so he had to use his usage up a little bit more. But, basketball players can't be great every game.
It's the exact opposite of what Josh King did. And Trey Kell played the full last quarter, played 10 minutes and struggled, you're right. But then Dave O'Hickey probably deserved those minutes. But as a coach, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. I love that Justin Tatum still has the faith in his superstar guard, because they're going to need Trey Kell in Game 3.
This is the best part about this season, because there are so many, a lot of these times teams are playing each other, especially in Game 3, 4, 5, 6 times. This is when the coaches really come out to play, and we've probably got 4 of the best here.
We do, and again, I love that there's different mindsets, different coaching styles. As I said, Josh King, he'll play the bench, even in the biggest moments. And then Justin Tatum says right there, they're going to have a bad game, because he knows that if Trey Kell doesn't fire in Game 3, they're not going to win. He needs his superstar.
Absolutely, they need him. He had some bad shots. He lacked a little bit on defense, but he knows he has to play well in order for them to win.
Well, it's Game 3 here tonight. Melbourne looking to go against Perth into the championship series. But don't forget, we got more coming up. Game 3 tomorrow as well. We are not far away from tip-off.
This program is brought to you by Hungry Jack's and Bunnings Warehouse.
Golding back into the game. Got to get him going. CG's got a sense of the moment. Golding stepping back. You just cannot do that. Chris Golding throwing flames in game one. You out of your mind, Chris. This is why you keep messing around. Golding again. Huge. Over the top of the five-time MVP. 9 made threes for the night. He's burning Perth again. Golding turns the corner. Bright lights. Big city. Chris Golding explodes. They've ticked the first box. Game one off an absolute masterclass from Chris Golding.
Jack Heverin could not put it better if he tried. Bright lights, big city, Chris Golding. Time and time again, he has lit this team up. Is it going to be too much for him to carry them all the way through game three? We've spoken between ourselves quite a few times this year saying, does Melbourne need another offensive threat? Or is CG43, even at his ripe old age, just good enough to keep on pushing them?
The problem is their best offensive threat outside of that is Ian Clark. And what are they going to do? They're going to play Ian Clark, Jelly, Shaylee and CG. That's going to be tough because Windler's a very big body, Doolittle's a big body, so plenty for Dean Bickham to figure out, but one of the best in the business, I'm sure he'll have an answer.
It really finds a way to run CG off the three-point line, yes, they're going to need some more scoring. Where is that going to come from?
Damon Lowry on NBL Overtime just before said, we are not going to go through a whole semi-final series without a Bryce Cotton explosion. Now, Shaylee, Defensive Player of the Year, but Bryce Cotton is another level of basketball player. You just get the feeling it's now or never.
And I tell you what, no one knows about Bryce Cotton's future except Bryce. If Bryce has the feeling this might be his last game in the NBL for the Perth Wildcats, you think he's going to go out with a subpar performance? Absolutely not. You just have a feeling that last game he plays, if it is the last one, it's going to be massive. So hopefully it's not for numerous reasons.
Such a rich history and rivalry, not just between Melbourne and Perth, especially probably two of the most successful clubs over the last 10 years, but two of the most successful players is CG43 and Bryce Cotton. We're in for a treat tonight. The Jack White storylines. Will Bryce Cotton stay? We've got absolutely everything on offer, but right now, it's time to just take a quick break for the national anthem.
Australians, oh, let us rejoice, for we are one and free, with golden soil and welfare toil. Our home is girt by sea, our land abounds in nature's gifts of beauty, rich and rare. In history's page, let every stage advance Australia fair. In joyful strains, then let us sing, advance Australia fair.
A beautiful rendition of the national anthem, fit for the occasion as John Cain Arena just starts to spread out and the fans filter in. They would have seen what happened in Perth. It was hostile, it was aggressive, at times it was downright offensive to be a Victorian in the building. And now they've got to bring it and bring the same sort of energy to will their team over the line.
I sense a little nervous energy here from the crowd. Yeah. They're really nervous. There was no real loud boos. They were very subdued for all the clapping. So we'll see if their team gives them something to cheer for.
Well, it's been a staple all year. The fans ask for it every single time. The coach is wide for it. Leonard, kick us off.
All right. Now, this is for the producers that didn't think I heard that. Don't stitch me up. I know what to say. All right, here we go. Firstly, we want to run CG and Clark off the three-point line. You got to run those guys off the three-point line if you think you're going to win. Secondly, you need to attack the bigs. Go at these bigs, get them in foul trouble, especially when you go smaller. And thirdly, I want to test and see if Jack White, if he's mentally all in or not.
Well, you messed that last one up. You're on fire until then, my man.
I got it.
Hey, Pete, his jersey hangs in the rafters, man. My man can do whatever the hell he likes in here.
That's true, except for the fact he didn't get a valet park or parking at all in that matter. For me, it's all about, for Melbourne United, you've got to stay disciplined. You have to stay disciplined in this moment. I think they took too many threes in the bad moments in that second half and limit second shots. Windler's going to come flying in. Doolittle's going to come flying in. Ben Henschel, if you can do that, it's going to go a long way to winning. But I really thought they took some poor shots. If they need to attack the rim, let Delhi create, be aggressive, and they should be okay. But boy, even I'm starting to get a little nervous over here.
Yeah, the energy's starting to build in here. Both of these teams, semi-finalists last year. They don't make it, they don't go through. History does not remember them. And for both of these players in CG43, I've talked the life out of this one with both of these guys and Bryce Cotton. It is legacy-defining stuff because I get the feeling if either of these teams can make it, they're a red-hot chance of taking the whole thing out.
Superstars rise to the occasion in games like this. They come to play. They get paid the big bucks to do the job, and generally those two guys get the job done.
You think that one of them is going to fire, and whoever does that is going to go a long way to winning.
Jack White has not had any success from the free throw line. It was highlighted in game 2, 1 for 8. The gamesmanship right now. Do you foul him? If you are John Rillie, do you send him out and send him to the line straight away and say, Dean, if you want to play your superstar, he's going to have to make free throws? Or if you're Dean Vickerman, do you send him out there and say, hey, get our man to the line because we back him in?
If I'm Rillie, I want to see what I'm working with. If that first one is a claim, then I know I got a chance down the line to foul him and get that ball back.
I feel for him. I've been there. I think 2 days is not enough to try and get over it, but we'll see what happens.
Well, we are not far from tip-off here. 2 of the best teams over the last 10 years, and of course, 2 of the best players over the last 10 years. Bryce Cotton, CG43. Superstars throughout. Win or go home starts now.
Game 2. Semi-final series, the Wildcats and United, 2 arch rivals. United win, they're through to the grand final. Margin getting bigger early in this game. United on fire.
The Wildcats look absolutely cooked.
What a start from the visitors. White from outside. My goodness me. Each and every time they silence the fans. Someone has to bring this game alive. Windler maybe. That's one. There's a long way to come back though. Windler again. Cotton, the MVP. On the buzzer. Maybe, just maybe. Bryce Cotton has inspired his team with 1 quarter to go. There's life still in this game.
Now we find out what Melbourne United are made of.
Windler in the corner. My goodness me! What a second half! Finds Doolittle. This is big.
Big time 3.
Man, listen to this crowd. The jungle is pumping right now. Here's Cotton. To the basket he goes. Rice is tying it up. Windler has been amazing. He's landed another big blow in the corner. Cotton, through he goes. Into the rack. And 2 more. This is amazing.
Oh my.
He's fouled and scores another 2. Dylan Windler, remember his name. What a comeback from the Wildcats. Ladies and gentlemen, we go to a game 3.
It's a story that deserves to be told over a trilogy. And tonight, in front of an international audience, we get the box office finish and what has been an incredible playoff series between Melbourne United and the Perth Wildcats. For the winner, a spot in the championship series, and for the loser, they come so close, but yet so far away. And so much of it rests tonight on the hopes of the 2 stars for both teams. Chris Goulding, the 3-time NBL champion. And is it the last time that we see the 5-time MVP, Bryce Cotton, playing here in the Hungry Jacks NBL? You wouldn't be dead for quits. You wouldn't be anywhere else in the world right now. It is game 3. I'm Jack Heverin, Damon Lowry, and the GOAT, Andrew Gaze, alongside me. Oh, there's some nervous energy in this building right now, gentlemen. Welcome to both of you.
Jack, so good to be here, man. You talk about a decider. The winner, like you said, goes to the championship series. Loser, tell your story walking. We got superstars on both ends of the floor where reputations are made, Drewy. Who's going to step up?
No, it's going to be an interesting one, and there's been so little in the first 2 games, and there's a lot of variables, and I'm sure we'll be talking about them throughout the course of the game, but you can break it down to three-point shooting. The team that has been able to excel from the three-point line has got the win in each of the contests, so guarding the three-point line is going to be critical. The matchup between the 2 coaches, they're really good tacticians out there, particularly Dean Vickerman with his experience, but the changes John really made when they all seemed lost. They were cooked, as Derek Rucker rightly mentioned, but he found a way to find some small ball, motivate his players, and of course, knock down some shots.
Damon, you spoke about this on NBL Overtime. You've spoken about it during the week on NBL Now as well. When it comes to Bryce Cotton, you'd look at his numbers in the series so far and you'd say that they were solid, but we're not talking about a mere mortal here, are we? He's due for a big game. Is it tonight?
It's got to be tonight. This man is not like everybody else. He's not regular. He's been playing good basketball in these first 2 games, averaging about 20 points a game and a nice percentage, but we are waiting for the Bryce Cotton game, that 40-point game, minimum 30 points at least. So I'm expecting him to come out full guns blazing.
On the other side of the ledger, though, Andrew Gase, for Melbourne United, Chris Golding went from the penthouse to the outhouse. In game 1, a 40-piece, 10 made threes, and on Saturday in Perth, unfortunately, that ball just wouldn't drop for him.
Well, he was certainly still in the penthouse in the first half in the game against Perth, and he's come out all guns blazing, and we thought, hello, here's another game for the ages. And we saw, this is just spectacular. He just completely went bunter in the second half of the game 1, and 15 points in the last quarter was a very decisive factor. He needs to have a big one, but I think the way in which he also gets other people involved, because they are going to be in his grill the entire game. And Ben Henschel in that second half, I think he's a little underrated as far as getting that win for the Perth Wildcats with what he was able to do defensively.
You'd think he'll get the job tonight as well. Kelsey Brown courtside with it, and Kels, all eyes on Jack White tonight.
It is. It's been the talk of the last 2 days since game 2. We all saw him get a little bit of the yips at the free-throw line, but I asked him the question. I said, Jack, how are you feeling coming into this game? And he said, I'm a confident player. I'm confident in what I've done all year. He said, anyone who knows me knows that I'm an overthinker and it's all in my head. I feel confident coming into the game tonight, so I'm excited to see him get to the free-throw line early.
Great to have you with us tonight, Kels, as we take a look at the starting 5s for Melbourne United. Fascinated to see what Perth throw at the Rob Lowe-Marcus Lee combination, Damon. They went small on Saturday night, and it basically played Rob Lowe out of the game.
It played Rob Lowe out of the game, but also Jack White played himself out of the game, so Dean had to go with 4 guards. If he has to do that again, they're in trouble. Dylan Windler, though, that sniper, that guy from Belmont University, let's see if he can back it up what he did in game 2.
Chris Reed, Michael Ayler, Nico Fernandez in charge for game 3 of the playoff series. The winner will go through and book their spot in the championship starting on the weekend. First look is Rob Lowe. He's off target. Jack White getting an early look. Melbourne winning game 1 at this venue. Perth hitting back on Saturday night with an enormous second half comeback. Dellavedova with the opening bucket of the night.
Well, he carries on. He was sensational in that game 2. The way he distributed the ball, was able to get to the paint, and I don't know whether it was just because of the jump ball and maybe the mismatch, but Dylan Windler started that first possession on Chris Golding.
Christian Doolittle's been incredible this series. 17, 11, and 6 in game 2, 22 and 9 in game 1.
The mid-range master, averaging about 20 and 10 in this series, picks up where he left off. Rob Lowe misses a bunny.
Bryce Cotton again guarded by Shea Illy. Illy in early foul trouble on Saturday, which meant that Cotton had some different looks. That first one doesn't go.
Well, they did a great job. Only took the 1 3-point field goal attempt, which is extraordinary when you think of Bryce Cotton's capability to create his own shot. But we see a foul in transition, defensive transition, huge for both these teams, but in particular for the Perth Wildcats, because Melbourne United, they are just, make or miss, they're flying that thing down the floor. Really does put a lot of pressure on your defensive trans. But, you know, with that only that 1 3-point field goal attempt, and he launched one early that time with Bryce, but I thought it was a masterful performance in that game too. Everyone just looks at the ultimate number, but what Bryce did and how unselfish he was, and the ultimate decoy in creating space for others.
Averaging 5.5 assists in the series, Bryce Cotton. Keanu Pinder finishes through contact.
Great pass by Benny Henschel. Keanu missed a few bunnies he would like to have had back. Good to see him get his first one to go.
Dellavedova proactive early. This ball falls into the hands of the 5-time MVP, Bryce Cotton. A couple of weeks ago, crowned the league's best player yet again. Defers to a wide-open Christian Doolittle. Premium look, and he knocks it down.
That's a mistake, Damon. There's no way Dean Vickerman said we're going to trap and just dared Doolittle to knock down threes. That's just a breakdown in your defensive assignments, and if you're going to do that, the weak side help's got a stunt at the very least to try and put some sort of pressure on Doolittle.
It's Chris Golding a long way from the basket. Explores into the paint. Jack White for three. No trouble from the stripe. Has shot the three ball well throughout the series. Henschel flies up the court from one end to the other. Lost the handle. Wildcats thought there was a foul. White bulldozes his way through. Still can't score.
Benny Henschel got to keep playing. You got to keep playing. He went down there, turned the ball over, thought he got fouled. He paused, and Melbourne United kept playing and came with the rebound. And is this what everybody's waiting to see, Drewy? Is Jack White? Nope, wasn't on the shot.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. If he hasn't shot at least 1,000 free throws in the last 2 days, then he hasn't done it the right way.
It's almost automatic for Chris Golding in this venue, in this series.
How do you give up a wide open triple out of bounds play to the best shooter in the building?
Very, very profitable in game one here. Keanu Pinder for three, throwing some early questions at Melbourne.
He's only been 2 of 17 from the three-point line against Melbourne United the entire season, so they've done a good job of taking that away.
Now the steal in the open floor. Look out!
It's been a nervous start by Melbourne United. They've missed a couple around the basket. Wide open three. And now they fumble.
Just about to say better offense from Melbourne, and then they turn it over.
An uncharacteristic turnover from Delhi led to a Keanu Duncan. Ian Clark's about to check in. He's instant offense.
He's also a proven championship winner, both here and in the NBA. He's probably the settling influence they need out there right now, Damon. They seem... I got to say, they seem a little nervous right now, Melbourne.
Yeah, it's been a tentative start at both ends of the floor. And Wildcats have done a good job with a 6-point lead early on. And these are the moments you've got to capitalise on.
I'm surprised to see Shea Ellis subbed out of the game so early. He's Henschel for three.
I mean, it's got to be someone. And you've got to sacrifice something in order to do that. And I think right now, Dean Vickerman feels that scoring is a premium more so than what Shea Ellis can give him on the defense. Oh my goodness.
Cotton in three. Illy off the floor. Bryce goes bang. And Perth make an early statement in game three.
You can see the way Bryce skipped into this one, Drewy.
Yep.
This was always going up.
Wow.
He got Ian Clark on his heels. That's nothing but cash.
Not terrible by Ian Clark by any stretch, but just better offense against okay defense, and the gamble doesn't appear to pay off by Dean Vickerman.
Early in the Tangerine timeout and pre-game, Kelsey Brown caught up with the coach of the Wildcats, John Riley.
John, the small ball, it's been talked about all week. Was that in your mind as something that could work, or was that just in the moment that you knew that you could put out there?
Oh, look, it's always something you have in your back of your mind, and we just needed to change up the momentum of the game, and it worked in our favor, that's for sure.
Is that something that you look to include tonight, or you just go with the flow?
Go with the flow. That's the way I roll. That's the way our team is, and who is ever performing on the night. And that's the beauty of this roster. We can play some different styles with the guys we have in our lineup.
Just to go back to that last point, Damon, that John really had to say about throwing different styles at Melbourne. The second half and the comeback from 20-plus points has been well documented, but it was the different lineups that John really threw out there, particularly when they went small. How much doubt will that have put in Melbourne's mind coming into tonight?
A lot of doubt. They don't know how they're going to match up with it. Right now, Perth got their 3 bigs on the floor. Keanu, Doolittle, and Windler. But when one of those guys are off, and then you come in with a Ty Webster type, because Jack White had a down game, Dean's going to have to show some faith in either Tanner Krebs or Kyle Bowen.
Kyle Bowen into the game. Rob Lowe out. Marcus Lee also in. Jack White off the floor as well. So Shea Lee and Jack White off the floor in the first 5 minutes for United as Clark lets it fly. A little settler for Melbourne. Kelsey Brown, you were listening in.
Dean Vickerman, but I also spoke to Rob Lowe before the game and he said they've got a plan for Doolittle and Windler. Dean Vickerman was not happy with what they've done so far. On the offensive end, they want to get Chris Goulding more looks early.
It's caught, guarded by Ian Clark.
I reckon Ian Clark would be one they want him to get more looks at as well. Clearly, he's demonstrated, as you mentioned, throughout his career, he's not afraid of big moments. And although it's early on, it kind of feels like a big moment before that made 3.
Steps out of bounds.
Good denial by the United, forced a sloppy turnover. Drewy, they got 4-guard offense basically Melbourne United. So Shea comes out, he's the first sub. I'm sure he'll be back in maybe in a minute or two, probably for Delhi.
Oh, no doubt. They'll want to get that rotation up, keep Shea fresh, because he got a big assignment throughout the course of the 40 minutes.
Whelan blocks the shot, had 4 of them on Saturday night. And he's Goulding called for a block on Bryce Cotton.
If you think you can just shoot anything on Dylan Windler, you kidding yourself. Do that 4 blocks in game 2. He's longer than what you think he is. And Bryce just causing havoc in transition, forcing the issue.
Ty Webster subs into the game. You can see the shoulder is heavily strapped, but in that second half comeback on Saturday night, he had 9 points. He was plus 16 for the half. It was a massive factor in that comeback.
I'm going to go as far as to say I think one of his most important contributions in his entire career with the Perth Wildcats. He was a big reason they were able to make that comeback, hit some huge plays, and really created problems for Melbourne United's defence.
Wildcats by 6. Goulding knocked it out of the hands of Christian Doolittle. A 40-piece in game 1 was cold in game 2. He's back in his home gym and he's knocking down 3s.
Come on now. Keanu Pinder sagged off on that ball screen. Dylan Windler tried to help on the weak side, but it was too late because that man needs no space.
That Dellavedova got in the way of the handoff. It's been a good 60 seconds for Melbourne United. Lee with the extra pass for Bowen. He travels.
Shoot that.
Well, he does. He got intimidated. It looked like he got the pass off in first reaction when I saw it. But you're right, that's way too... When he's dribbling, you've got to be right up and in, almost reading it or blitzing it, whatever terminology you want to use when it's Chris Goulding.
15-12, game 3 of the playoff series between Melbourne and Perth. The winner will be into the championship series, taking on either Illawarra or Southeast Melbourne. It's Jesse Wagstaff, the 6-time champion on the floor. Offensive rebound, smart by Webster. And Christian Doolittle foul.
As soon as Jesse Wagstaff hits the floor, the team IQ goes up a couple of notches. Just does all the little things. Great offensive rebound, bought him an extra possession. Ty attacks the hoop, drops off Christian Doolittle to the stripe for 2.
He's been shooting at 100% from the free throw line during the series. I won't ask you, Drewy, because you've already got one, but Damon, are you looking for a new car? Because if you are, to celebrate the Hungry Jacks NBL finals, the NBL and Mitsubishi are going to give fans the chance to win one of those really cool-looking Mitsubishi ASXs.
Once in my life, I like to have a cool car.
Jump online, nbl.com.au/car by scanning that QR code.
Your driving experience will never be the same, and there's no looking back once you've been in the ASX, I tell you.
I'm still waiting for mine. It's been all season.
Oh, it's delightful. All the mod cons.
Drewy's just taken all of the allocated budget.
Test driving.
Perth by 5. Billy back out onto the floor.
Gee, that's easy. Up the dribble on those on balls. It's been quite easy. We saw Goulding come off one. He just got to his spot that time.
45% from the field early on United. Perth at 66%.
Sniper!
There he is.
That's just a beautiful pass by Doolittle as well. Get his guy going.
27 points on Saturday for Dylan Windler. And a good start to tonight as well as Tanner Krebs gets that to go.
It's exactly the same, Damon. All those actions, they're getting really deep coming off those on-ball screens or the DHOs.
Cotton found some space away from Illy. High over the top.
I love it. What Bryce is doing, you can see it. He is getting a high ball strength. If we look at the Amy replay, Ty again making plays. Doolittle with the extra pass. I'm telling you, it's a beautiful lefty stroke Dylan Windler rocking with Drewy. Bryce is getting early ball screens at around a half court, and you got to try to guard him coming down here with that kind of pace. He's putting so much pressure on the defense right now. How do you defend that?
It's difficult. You can't do it just in a one-on-one situation. You need help, but the type of help you're going to give and who you're going to help off is important. That last one by Windler that he made, Krebs was right off helping, and I could see why, because it was going to be a play on the rim, but sometimes you got to hedge your bets, and two's better than three.
They're going to put Rob Lowe in ball screens, and you can't blame them.
He's had a hard time during this series, Rob Lowe, staying out there. He's been +7 for the series, for those who play the plus-minus game, but as Damon mentioned, Perth have exploited him. Ian Clark has that look in the eye tonight.
Been here, done that, Ian Clark. Can't give him any looks. Here's that high screen again.
Second three this first quarter. Cuts it back to a 3-point difference. Cotton now guarded by White. He'll like the look of that.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, the patience.
That is spectacular. He makes it look so easy. And this is a dangerous sign for Melbourne United, because the great one is seeing it, it's coming out, and he just looks so comfortable on the offensive end. You need to try and rough him up a little bit.
The team comes for Illy. Clark's left open. That is not a good thing for Perth as they breathe a sigh of relief.
Gosh, the bullet. 75% of that was in the hoop. Look at this aggressive man. Come on, Jack. Bryce Cotton is in his bag early. I say there's no way we're going to have a semifinal series without this man going ham.
Well, Dean Vickerman, as we were complaining about that Melbourne United getting to the rim, that time he was furious at Rob Lowe for not being high enough on that on-ball screen. With Bryce coming off, particularly after he's already made some. See, he comes off. Now that's hands down and just way too hard. My goodness. Do they not understand the greatness of Bryce Cotton?
If Rob Lowe is going to be on the floor, he's got to punish somebody inside to justify being on the floor, because they are going to guard him. If Bryce just miss a free throw.
Yeah.
But you know what? If it's Bryce Cotton, hey, make him go.
Pink fly pass.
Make him go around you rather than just conceding the three ball.
100%.
He's never missing two. This is a 10-point lead in a do-or-die game 3.
29 points in a quarter for one of the best defensive teams in the competition. It's too much.
Had it have not been for Ian Clark, the damage would have been a lot worse for Melbourne. He's got 8 points in the first quarter. Bryce Cotton, the leading scorer, with 12. He looks like he started to crack the code. Games 1 and 2 have been a battle. He's on the line again.
In game 1, Bryce got to the free throw line 3 times. Game 2 in Perth, he gets there 9 times. And sometimes he lets the game come to him, but he knows the urgency and the importance of obviously this game. And you can see him being aggressive early. If you think he's going to get subbed out at any stage, Drewy, I think he's playing every second of this game.
Well, that's right. And Jack White didn't do a whole lot wrong. It was just that inside arm. And Bryce is a genius. And once he feels that contact of knowing when there's a slight push to make sure that he gets that call, it's one of the other tremendous skills that he has.
14 now for the benchmark. Melbourne as a team only have 21. Krebs in the corner. He can't connect either. The Wildcats are aggressive at this end and locked in at the defensive end. Doolittle to the rack.
Dean's trying to get out of this quarter. He's trying to survive these last 75 seconds.
They need a safe word.
Ian Clark is the safe word. Good thing he's on the floor, because I'm looking at the scoring out there, Drew, and who else but Kim's going to get the scoreboard ticking over.
At the other end, Cotton causing all sorts of havoc. 16 points in the first quarter.
Spumoni! Spumoni! They need the safe word. Because Bryce Cotton has gone troppo.
He's not done yet. He's finding space. He's finding paths to the basket, and he's getting others involved too. Doolittle can't knock it down. It'll be a Perth ball. This is some sort of first quarter performance with the season on the line.
That's right, it is.
16 points. Bryce is 80% from the field, only missed the one shot. And you can tell this is the tempo that Johnny really wants to play at. He challenges Melbourne United. Can you guys put enough points on the board?
I mean, this is... Some of the defense has been okay. It's just been really good offense, and they're getting to the paint. It's inside and outside. Everything going right for the Perth Wildcats. The United have taken nothing away from them in this first quarter.
One of the best defensive teams in the competition have been opened up in this opening term by the Wildcats. 2 on the clock for Tanner Krebs. Right on the quarter-time buzzer. Big moment in the game, but it's Perth who dominate the first quarter, 37-26 in Game 3 of the playoff series here at John Cain Arena.
Wildcats and the MVP have come to play. It's Game 3 here in the Hungry Jacks NBL. 16 points in the first term from a fired-up Bryce Cotton. 3 spectacular triples from deep. They lead United 37-26. From Dean Vickerman, it was all about the defensive end. 3rd best first quarter for Perth this season. Gazy, where can they clean it up?
Well, there's a number of things that they need to do, and their on-ball defense is... It hasn't been terrible, but they just haven't been able to contain any of the penetration and not meeting them too early, so they either shooting the 3 or getting to the cup. But If you're the Perth Wildcats, 12 of 16 from the field. That is extraordinary. And 6 of 10 from the three-point line. It's not like Melbourne United's offense has been terrible. They're at 50%. They get their 26 points, 10 of 20. But the big ticket item is the rebounds. In that first quarter, 11-4 in favour of the Wildcats.
Which has been a problem for the whole series, Drewy. They're plus 18 for the series, Perth, in rebounding. This time last year, they were horrendous in the rebounding count. It's been a huge focus this season for them.
Yeah, this is... Like Damon, it's not like the defense of Melbourne United has been terrible.
There's some high shot making going on out there as Deli tees one off, no good.
Wagstaff on the floor with Winler, Henschel, Cotton and Pinder for Perth. Lowe, Dellavedova, Krebs, White and Clark for the home team, Melbourne United. Winler can't score on the right hand.
They're getting whatever they want, all because Bryce is getting those ball screens 48 feet away from the basket. Turn it into a 4 against 3.
Clark playing a lone hand for Melbourne United. He's got 13.
Smooth. Ian Clark has got to stay out of foul trouble. Picked up his second foul earlier.
Wow. He cuts it back to 10.
Pinder just in a rush. He was thinking about the score before he actually caught the ball.
Dellavedova with a handoff to Clark.
Oh my goodness.
Unloads again.
Okay. Stand up, Memphis. Keanu got caught again. Drew sagging off on that ball screen. Ian Clark ain't hesitating.
Single-figure game. It hasn't been that way for a while. Everything going through Ian Clark right now, and he's fouled. 3 free throws coming.
The pedigree of this man. You check the Amy replay. Comes off that handoff. Nothing but cash. And John really needs to have a chat.
They've looked so settled and so composed so far, the Perth Wildcats, but in the opening 90 seconds of the second term, Melbourne have come back in a big way. They trail by 7 in the Tangerine timeout. Pre-game, Kelsey Brown caught up with Jack White.
Jack, thanks so much for your time. How did you view the small ball that they played towards the end of that game? It was obviously a little bit of a masterstroke from John Riley. How did you view it?
Yeah, it was a bit of a change-up for him. Obviously something that, you know, we're going to have to prepare for heading into this game. They had a lot of success and obviously ended up winning the game, but I don't think it's something that, you know, we can't handle. Obviously, a lot of the teams in the league sort of play that small ball sort of style, and it's a bit of a change-up for them, but turned out to, you know, work out well for them. So, you know, we got to adjust, we got to be better in it, but I think we have all the tools to be able to take care of it.
How are you feeling coming into the game? We know that there was tough times for you at the foul line, but you're a superstar player. How do you overcome that mentally?
Yeah, I mean, for me, anyone who knows sort of me as a player, I'm a bit of an overthinker at times, and I think that's all it was. I was just in my own head a bit, trying to overthink it, but you know, I had some good conversations over the last few days with, you know, people that I sort of lean on and trust, and teammates, coaches, that sort of thing, and just sort of trusting my prep. You know, I think I'm an elite shooter, and you know, I can't put too much pressure on myself at the line. Just got to trust my technique and my form and the preparation that I put in, you know, not only this season but my whole life, and yeah, just let it rip. So feeling good coming into this game. I think especially it helps. I've been shooting the ball pretty well from 3, so yeah, just understanding that it's pretty much just all happening in my head, and yeah, just got to move on.
3 of 12 from the free throw line for the series. He's 0 of 4 tonight from the field. What would be going through the mind of Jack White right now?
He'd be doubting himself because he hasn't done anything yet. Literally, like, you got to be able to do something positive to cancel out all of the negative things that you've experienced in game 2. And right now, I haven't seen him, like, they said back picks for him in transition, but he doesn't try to post up a mismatch when Perth switches. He's right now letting the game come to him, and if he's not careful, he's going to play himself into another funk.
19 points now for Ian Clark. This is, he looks switched on, as you'd expect, but really engaged and so confident.
9-2 start to the quarter for Melbourne United. Doolittle wins it back for Perth. Still fighting underneath. He can't be stopped.
Brute force.
Strongest man out there.
That might just calm things a little bit for the Wildcats as well. 41-35 here in game 3 of the playoff series. tomorrow night at Southeast Melbourne and Illawarra to decide the other half of the Championship Series draw.
Kelly gonna put his shoulder in your guts, in your chest. He backs himself.
Henschel at the other end will back himself. Nice little handoff to Pinder.
Drury, what do you make of Benny Henschel's? I mean, these are quality reps. You know, he's trying to get himself drafted. NBA GMs will be looking at the impact he's having in this high-pressure semifinal series. How you like him so far?
Well, I think he's just got to focus on the defensive end, let the offense come to him, which he appears to be doing. But right there, you saw the value of Ian Clark having those 19 points. He comes off, there's two guys hedging high, and that slip is on.
Pinder misses from underneath. Marcus Lee knocks that one away, and the Wildcats can reset. Henschel gets his look offensively. Just 18% from the field across the series. He's a better shooter than that. Clark. Not that time.
Keanu was about to get hooked. He sagged off when that little ball screen again. But that little screen and actually Ian Clark's hotter than fish grease right now. Speaking of,
Windler unsuccessful from the corner. Dellavedova's lifted this tempo in the second term. Ian Clark is wide open. And Perth dodge another bullet.
Christian Doolittle was just there, Clark, to make that one.
Cotton slicing and dicing. It's up and back in game 3. Krebs out on the floor. We've barely seen Chris Goulding in this second quarter. Surprising here from Dean Vickerman.
Oh, wow. That just slipped out of his hand.
Wow.
He's mentioned Chris Goulding, he's coming back in, but Matty Dellavedova, he's got an unorthodox shooting technique, and that time just completely lost it out of his shooting hand.
Got you off the first tee last week.
Oh. Well, it's actually not a bad analogy because, yeah, it looked a little funky.
Dellavedova comes out, Goulding back in. Flynn Cameron also out there. Just the 6 minutes he's averaging across the series. Big opportunity for him in game 3. Shot clock at 4. Windler will have to invent something. Next best result is free throws.
So Johnny really comes in with Ty Webster as Marcus Lee picks up his third, but These got the two-headed monster platoon system happening. Rob Lowe checks in. But Ty takes some pressure off of Bryce. Bryce has been doing a great job inviting the double team around half court. Melbourne United have figured out a little bit. Perth haven't been making plays. So now, Drew, you take Bryce off the ball, just to rest him a little bit, and let Ty initiate some offense.
Yeah, and this game is played at such a high pace that those couple of minutes here or there is going to be important because to keep your energy levels high, which are needed at both ends of the floor.
When Cameron comes in for Ian Clark, I'm thinking I'd like to have Ian Clark and Goulding out there at the same time.
Perth's biggest lead in the game was 14 at the back end of the first quarter. Shaylee takes himself to 7 points. And just 3 separate these two teams now. That shot will be there all night long for Christian Doolittle.
Drury, I don't know who I can put Rob Lowe on.
Well, that's it. That right there, he's got to use his length and at least carry his arm and try and intimidate the shot, but that's just mid-range. That's easy for Doolittle.
So you can see Melbourne United, they're trying to treat Bryce a la Steph Curry and just put him in ball screens and just go at him, which is actually a good idea, make him play some defense.
Well, this small lineup that Perth Wildcats are going with, I think you need Jack White out there.
It was a lineup that worked for them on Saturday night, Drew. This one right here, including the veteran Jesse Wagstaff. He was plus 21 for the series. Made a little mess of this one. Shot clock is still their friend. Doolittle with the left hand. Timeout, Melbourne.
Grown man, Christian Doolittle. He remind me when your mother would say, just wait till your father get home. He out there handling grown man business right now. This is a mismatch. Kyle Bowen cannot guard Christian Doolittle anywhere near the rim.
Well, Rob Lowe, though, you saw him there, and that's the difference between him and Lee. He doesn't provide that rim protection on that weak side to come over and help out. So I think they need a little bit more as we see Billy Brownless.
Rabsy alongside him from the rush hour. Triple M in Melbourne, now pumped by Reebok seats tonight. Monique Coleman alongside the boys as well. Sean Ryan there as well. And there's Brendan Favola taking in a little bit of Tuesday night hoops here in Melbourne. Tomorrow night, Illawarra versus Southeast Melbourne. The winner of this game will play the winner of that game in the Championship Series. Coverage from 7 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time. And of course, it's all brought to you by basketball.com.au.
I don't know what we did to deserve this good fortune. 2-game threes. Both teams finished 1 and 2 on the ladder. Illawarra Hawks and Melbourne United. This is why you get home court advantage. This is why you play 29 games, Drewy. And jockey for position for this moment right here.
Peter Siddle there, Dale Thomas. Saw Kate Maloney from the Melbourne Vixens in the crowd before. Everyone has wrangled a ticket for this one. And I hope you're enjoying it at home, wherever you are. Two heavyweights of the NBL who continue to trade big right hands. Golding with space. It's good.
Once again, Keanu Pender sagging off. And this dude, as we all know, is not normal. And Chris is now 100% from 3.
Just a short break for Ian Clark too, with the 19 points. He's getting ready to check back in. Melbourne making a bit of a move. Wagstaff catching 3. Catch and shoot 3, I should say. 3.5 minutes before the main break here at John Cain Arena. Golding. Got it!
The Gladiator! That time it was Jesse Wagstaff caught late. And this man is now 4 for 4 from downtown.
Yeah, but some of these looks for him, that's just, now you think, oh, well, they're Wagstaff coming out and helping out, but you've got to stay on his hip, or try to, and fight over those screens with a little bit more vigor.
We have just 1 point separating these two teams now. And it's been a big second quarter from Melbourne United as they come from 14 points down to trail by just the solitary point now with 3:25 remaining out of this Tangerine timeout as well. Some of the prime movers in the series, including the coaches, 2 of the very best in the league. Dean Vickerman, who's looking for his 5th grand final appearance in 8 years with Melbourne United. And Ian Clark, Bryce Cotton, trading blows so far.
I mean, this elite shot making by both of them. Ian Clark has been doing it for his entire life, and we all know what Bryce has been doing. And they made a run. Like, you got to figure it's going to be a momentum shift throughout this game. But right now, I still feel the tempo favors Perth.
Well, Melbourne United are just living on the three-point line. They've had 32 field goal attempts, 19 of them from the three-point line. And why wouldn't you? They're 9 of 19, and this is not by accident. They attempt more three-point field goal attempts than any other team throughout the course of the season. And they're letting it fly, and they're dropping right now. The challenge is for the Perth Wildcats to try and run them off the line, even if it means some contested shots around the bucket. That's a good set coming out of the timeout for the Perth Wildcats to get a look around the basket for Pinder.
Kelsey Brown, you were listening in.
I was listening to John really, and it was a pretty simple message. He's like, we're doing a great job, just finish. Massive 3 from Chris Golding. He said, we're doing a great job, just finish off this half. For Dean Vickerman, he said, it's about defense, our foul discipline, we're getting our hands in, and with Bryce, push him off the line.
Oh, good Lord.
Easier said than done.
Does anybody in here understand the assignment? Chris Golding comes anywhere near the ball, you've got to sell out.
I'm not sure Windler's the right matchup for him either. He's got some size, but it's what you've got to do to fight through the screens.
Rob Lowe on the move. Ian Clark is having himself a half.
Well, we are seeing some of the most spectacular shooting that we've seen all season by these two teams.
52% from outside Melbourne. 46% from outside Perth. Cotton doesn't get it to go. Big offensive rebound by Keanu Pinder.
So now Melbourne United are keeping Rob Lowe back, trying to keep him out of the ball stream. So now it's guard to guards. So Rob Lowe's trying to protect the basket. Good tactic by Dean Bickerman.
Dylan Windler with his hands full. Chris Golding is in that sort of mood.
Just brought the hands down. He's tried to stay vertical. And just brought them down and caught the foul on Windler. He's exhausted. That is such a hard shot, so quick. And Bryce with a foot on the line for only the 2 ball. My goodness, 22 points for Ian Clark.
17 made threes by both teams in a half. Like, that's got to be some kind of record, don't it?
But from combined 34 field goal attempts, so collectively it's 50% from both these teams combined. And Wildcats have only taken 13. 6 of 13 for their 33 field goal attempts. So there is a difference in points of emphasis between these two teams.
Melbourne in front for the first time since the score was 3-2. And he hit the front at the right time. Henschel on the move. Tough finish from the youngster.
And I reckon sometimes the offense is your best defense, and going at Chris Golding, making him play some defense, either to draw fouls or push. Oh, that's a push-off, it looked like, from Dellavedova.
No foul called. He's the 20-year-old for back-to-back buckets.
And both of them on Chris Golding.
Benny, he don't lack confidence in himself.
Minute remaining in this second quarter.
Canu.
Golding gave it up. Lowe tried to be too unselfish. Pinder on the rescue mission. It falls into the hands of the right man.
Step back. He is just on fire right now. And on the defensive end as well.
Look at him go. Pull. He knows no other way. And that pass batted out of play. What looked to be last touch Melbourne. The official, who was right under the baseline, has a different view.
Rob Lowe got his hands in his head thinking, what in the hell pace is this? I didn't sign up for this kind of tempo.
Dylan Windler out of the game, Jesse Wagstaff back in. Henschel back to his defensive assignment on Chris Golding, which worked with such success on Saturday night in Perth. 5-second differential between game and shot clock. Golding got it!
Drury, are we seeing the same thing? We're seeing the same thing.
We really can't. Pinder just not recognising the moment. You've got a white-hot Golding, and he's a good metre and a half away as he's coming off the handoff or the screen. He's got to be up and in, and okay, you might get beat on the slip, but that's going to be someone else's responsibility.
6 triples in a row, and at least 3 of them was on Keanu's side.
Points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, plus 14. Christian Doolittle's first half.
Good thing they stitched him up for the foreseeable future.
I reckon we're watching one of the greatest halves of basketball we've ever seen in the NBL. This has been extraordinary by these two teams.
One last chance for Melbourne. Krebs will let it fly. 120 points in a half of basketball with both teams' season on the line. What an extraordinary first half we've witnessed.
Well, there's been a few breakdowns, but this has just been incredible offense against okay defense. Yeah, you can look at it and say strategically they might have messed up or there's been some missed assignments, but this has just been an exceptional display by both these teams.
A remarkable game so far, and Kelsey Brown is with a remarkable man.
He is 120 points to the half, Bryce. That's a fast-paced offensive display. How have you seen it?
Yeah, it's a bunch of runs back and forth, a lot of shot making on both ends, but I guess that's what makes it fun to play in, and it makes it fun for everybody watching.
Defensively, what do you need to do in the second half? Ian Clark's been popping off for them. What do you need to do to make sure that you guys can get some stops?
Just make sure if they're going to score, you want them to make shots with a hand in the face. If you give them time and space, we don't want to live with that. They can score. You know what I mean? They can score with the best of them, so we just want to make it tough.
Well done. All the best. Thank you.
He looks absolutely exhausted at halftime, Bryce Cotton, and as he should be. 22 points on 6 of 9. It is Perth who leads 62-58. Felix, Halls and Copes are up next with the halftime show, with thanks to basketball.com.au. This is an absolute barn burner. Don't go anywhere.
The Hungry Jacks NBL Final Series is here. To celebrate, the NBL and Mitsubishi are giving you the chance to win a brand new Mitsubishi ASX. Enter now at nbl.com.au/car for your chance to win.
Same movie, same actors, CG43 and Bryce Cotton going bucket for bucket. In the words of Andrew Gaze, one of the best halves he has seen in NBL history. High octane, fast paced, superstars stepping up. I said it in the pregame and I will damn near say it again. It doesn't get better than that.
Oh, that's one of the most beautiful first half of basketballs I've ever seen anywhere in the world. You can show me another first half, say it was better, I won't believe you. That was just stunning.
I'm an offensive guy. That was amazing. Look, it's not like these guys aren't trying to play defense. It's just a better offensive game.
Hey, I don't know what happened, but defense, if you're waiting out there in the hallway, stay there. Take no part in the second half. This is high-octane stuff. We said before the game, we have been waiting on a Bryce Cotton explosion, and it came in the first quarter.
He did. He was brilliant. I mean, he did the work he has to do to get to the free throw line, which is what Bryce Cotton does. But after that, once he's seen a couple of shots go down, you just have to pray he misses. This is what greatness does. You can play the best defense possible, but if it comes down to it, there's only two ways you can stop him. One, don't let him touch the ball, and two, pray that he misses, because he's just that good. Once he gets to his spot, it's up to him.
The question is this his last game in the NBL? He's putting on a show. He is really going to work.
I'll pull out my phone and transfer now if I need to. We need this guy to stay in the league, and the Wildcats, they need him to bring this in the second half. 22 points, 6 of 9 from the field. You just know he's got more left in the tank.
Yeah, they're going to have to continue to ride him. I mean, Christian Doolittle's been good. Keanu Pinder's down the other end. They just continue to pile it on from three. Clark, Golding, and again, I'm not sure why Chris Golding sat for so long, and then him and Ian Clark didn't play together. That was staggering in hindsight, but all of a sudden we've got an epic ball game coming.
CG43 exploded in that second quarter there and showed us a lot of what we saw in game one, but it was Ian Clark who from the jump provided it. They were down and out buried. This looked like this lead was going to push out, and Ian Clark grabbed it by the proverbials.
Yeah, he was on a mission. From the word go, he came in and let it fly. Look, he's been through this before. These guys won an NBA championship. He knows what it takes to win, and he has that edge about knocking shots down. And Chris Golding was one of his best fans, standing on the sideline cheering him on.
He was terrific, Ian Clark. He really saved them being down potentially 20 at half-time. But what was interesting, you're right, Chris Golding sat for the last 4 minutes of the first quarter and the first 5 minutes of the second quarter. If I'm Dean Bickman, you need to get Clark and Golding on the floor at the same time. You need to make Perth have to make a decision. He did that at the end of the second quarter, but it was probably a little too late. And we look at the Blackmore shot chart, another absolutely beautiful looking shot chart, Copes.
Absolutely. You spoke about Clark and Golding playing together. Dean's such a defensive guy. He's probably worried about those guys playing defense. But if they're scoring like they are, the other team should be worried about stopping those guys.
Win or go home, a 4-point lead for the Perth Wildcats right now, and it all continues tomorrow night. Another Game 3 decider, the Illawarra Hawks and South East Melbourne Phoenix. You get the feeling Geordie Hunter and Tyler Harvey are going to be ready to party. 7:30 p.m. Second half here, up next.
Points, 4 boards for Jesse Wagstaff and an excellent catch. Up to 39. Kings have had enough.
Take your game from the local court to the big time. Step onto an NBL court after the final buzzer. Backing local ballers is just the beginning.
nice when, you know, I got to 7th all-time wins, and I passed Bob Turner and Andre Labanis and guys that were my mentors and stuff. So you start to reflect a little bit on it, but truly, it's not about, you know, how many I win. It's right now, Chris has got so many years left in his career. Delly's got so many years. It's about these players, that how hard they work, that they deserve to win more championships.
Yeah, he's got a high level of care for his guys, and we generally are picking up on the same vibe of what's happening with the group, so, you know, we can bump things off each other.
Is a competitor, really brings it every day, is detailed in the scout, and you have to love the game to be able to be as focused as he has for a long time.
But I want to go from Delly straight into here right now. You go bury him on that one. We're giving ourselves an opportunity by being there last year, and hopefully go one step further.
Here's a three-time NBL Coach of the Year, Dean Vickerman, and Melbourne United since 2017-18 have been to the semi-final series every year, except for one, which was the 22-23 season. They're always around the mark, Damon Lowry and Andrew Gaze, but right now, they step into the third quarter, 4 points down.
And I think they'd be happy with only being down by 4, considering the way Perth has come out aggressive and shot the lights out. Did a great job erasing that 14-point deficit. As we look at this head-to-head battle, you could put another couple of guys right there. But Christian Doolittle's playing lights-out ball. And look at Chris. He just don't even want to miss a shot, Drewy.
That is incredible. And when you look at it too, the rebound count is becoming significant. 20-11 in favour of the Perth Wildcats. That's something that Melbourne United need to address as well.
Been a big positive for them all series. Jack White from the corner, moment of truth.
Good penetration and kick by Shea Illy. They're going to attack Bryce Cotton. And one thing Jack has been doing well this series, he's been knocking down his 3-ball.
First points of the night. Might settle a few of his ongoing doubts. And there's the rebound as well. What a first half we saw from Ian Clark, a big game player. He's making things happen. Rob Lowe. Can't connect. It's Perth who lead by 1. Bryce Cotton with 22 first half points, making big plays. Winler from a long way out.
Well, he's sort of been lost in it all a little bit. Winler, but knocks down a deep 3 to get himself back into the contest. He's now 3 of 5 from the field. Not a lot of opportunities for Winler.
Broke their hearts in game 2. Rob Lowe with his first score tonight.
And with the left, the non-preferred. Good ball movement, good extra pass.
The winner of this game will book a spot in the championship series against either Illawarra or Southeast Melbourne Phoenix, who do battle tomorrow night. Winler throws a bullet inside for Pinder. He's had some good looks. He's 6 of 10 from the field so far. Illy's pass goes astray. Numbers with Perth. And Pinder finishes off.
Unfortunate turnover. Shea got caught up in there, didn't know quite what to do with it. Yeah, to an easy 2. And Drewy, both teams are doing the same exact thing to each other. Dribble handoffs on the wing, shooters turn the corners. You think because they see it so often, they do it themselves, they can defend it a little bit better.
No, that's right, but just the brilliance on the offensive end is, as I said, it wasn't always really bad defense, it was just exceptional offense. And you saw in that last turnover, they exaggerate a lot when you have a breakdown like that.
Take off the bounds from Jack White, and 1.
It is. The weak side help from Keanu came a little bit later. But these types of plays are on because the shooting is so good. You saw Doolittle getting ready to hedge out high. He keeps it. Weak side helps a little late, and that's just been because of how great the shooting has been. And Doolittle kind of needs to do that, but needs to have an arm bar so he doesn't get beat if they do keep it.
Deep breath. And the free throw drops by any means necessary.
It all counts. Don't matter.
It's been his Achilles heel of the series, Jack White. 3 of 12 from the free throw line before that one.
Doolittle left open. He hurts them again.
You just can't afford to double team anybody, but you need to double team certain people, Drewy.
And the hedging was...
You gotta rotate.
Chris Golding, but he was guarding Winlow and didn't want to leave him, which is understandable.
Low knocked it back out for Whites.
This is ridiculous.
He's buried the Demons in this third quarter.
This is some unbelievable shooting display by both these teams.
A point the difference in an extraordinary playoff game.
Jack White got to double team the ball, Bryce, then somehow rotate back to Doolittle, and then deal with that heavyweight down in the box, and then Clark missed the floater. What tips it in?
If you put your head down for 1 second, you're going to miss something. It's that sort of game. Henshaw with a couple of big moments late in that second quarter. Ran into a brick wall in the form of Rob Lowe. Illy for the big man. He's 0-3 from that range tonight. It's Perth who lead by a point. Cotton slicing and dicing. He's off target as well. The lead is there for Melbourne to grab this trip down the floor. And it's Clark who takes that lead.
If you can't work off of a ball screen or dribble handoff in these days, you can't play basketball. That is all we're seeing. Some elite shot makers, Drewy, coming off handoffs. The DHO has never been more popular.
And as soon as they come to a deficit now, a point down, John really goes back to that small lineup. Tace Keanu Pinder, who has been solid in this game. 15 points, 7 of 11. He's got the 5 boards, so he's been more than serviceable. But John really goes back to his version of small ball, which has caused Melbourne United some problems.
Would you have left Jack White out there? He just makes his last couple.
I think with this small ball, it makes a bit of sense. They bring, like Lee, though, can protect the rim.
9 points in the third quarter for Jack White.
Now, I wouldn't have subbed him out, no way. But anyway, here we go.
Marcus Lee back out there with 3 fouls to his name. They dump it inside to Doolittle, and Lee got a piece of it.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what he can do a little bit better than some of the others. Oh, my goodness.
Not far away from the sharpshooter. Cotton got past Dellavedova. Not an easy thing to do. Doolittle run off the line, but lives in the mid-range. Not that time.
Make that extra pass. Make that extra pass to Dylan Windler. And if you look at the bench scoring for the Perth Wildcats, it is a goose egg.
We have not seen Elijah Pepper tonight. We've barely seen Ethan Almanza. It's a shorter rotation. Dellavedova rolls that home.
Turning the corner, getting downhill. Everybody's hugging their man.
It was Perth by 11 at quarter time. Golding almost came up with it.
Well, they're the sort of plays. And if you think Chris Golding likes to shoot at this venue, check this out for a stat. In the last 4 quarters played against Perth at this very venue, Chris Golding is now 15 from 18 from the 3-point line.
Ludicrous.
That, I mean, to come out here by himself at 12 o'clock in the afternoon and shoot around with no one in the joint, that is some unbelievable shooting. He's doing it with people up in his grill.
Video game numbers. Christian Doolittle, 25 points. If the theory is make someone else beat you, he might be the one that beats you.
That is 24 made threes combined. I have never seen this in a half of basketball, I mean in a game of basketball, let alone it's early in the third quarter.
40% from the three-point line in the series. He's better than that tonight. Nice find underneath for Bowen. A bit of feeling now between Cotton and Dellavedova. The double comes for Bryce.
So now you got problems. But now you got problems.
Dellavedova forces the issue. Thought about the handoff to Clark. Golding no good. Marcus Lee with a rare offensive rebound for Melbourne. Clark got it back. Third time lucky.
Right. They're fixing their rebounding problems in that one possession. A couple of goes at it. Chris Golding from outer space. And there's always going to be long rebounds if they don't go in. And just the energy levels of the Perth Wildcats just starting to be tested.
4-point lead to Melbourne United in the Tangerine timeout. 3:42 remaining in this third quarter. The Wildcats led by 14 at the back end of the first term. Melbourne now in front, and we're about to jump into the timeout of Dean Vickerman.
At the moment, we win those ones. Good job. Couple of good 3 balls, we win them. Good job. Hey, go ahead, Shanky.
Yeah, give it up for the Melbourne United Dream Team.
Hey, Delhi, give me a 2 side on this next one. Tell me you're flying over it. I see 2 sides. You and I see. Are you and Marcus flying that? Tanner flying over the top. Sorry, you're coming off that one.
Bryce has only had the 1 shot for this quarter. And they are trapping Bryce. As soon as he crosses half court, if he gets that early ball screen, they're going to back their defense. They're 3 against 4. And right now, Delhi is making his life kind of miserable off the ball.
37 bench points to 0 tonight, Melbourne's way. Oh. If Perth are going to win, it'll be their stars that get them there.
Right.
That'll be 4 on Marcus Lee.
I don't get why a 7-footer would try to take a charge on the guard.
Particularly when he can use his length around the rim. This is good play. Just gets his head down and just drives into the legs of Lee to try and draw that foul. And good play.
I can't change it off looking at that. Here we go. Don't forget to download the NBL app. You can jump behind the scenes, get all the best content.
Gee, no way.
During the final series, Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, you name it, it's all there.
Straight away signal 2 shots.
Yeah, to me, I think it's a reasonable complaint. It looked like Webster was still dribbling the ball, and they've caught it in the act of shooting. Maybe he collected the ball.
Or he was just reading his mind.
Well, he was definitely trying to get to the rim to make a play at the rim.
Reading Ty Webster's mind would be an interesting exercise. Just never quite know what is going to pop into his brain next. His first points of this decider. 28 points for Ian Clark. He goes hunting for 2 more. Off the back of the iron. Now it's Cotton's turn offensively. 22 points. He gave it up for Doolittle, who was absolutely broken Melbourne and continues to.
Kyle Bowen's frustrated, but like, I don't know what to tell you, Kyle.
No, he's just so strong. He can get to his spot and got really good touch around the rim. Time using the glass.
Smart by Cotton, got a hand in the lane, but Bowen got it back.
Doolittle's put his hand up and asked for a sub. Now, given those numbers that you're talking about, points from the bench, you can understand why John really would be reluctant to get him out of the game.
Ben Henschel's had his number called. The tired Christian Doolittle. Webster back out for Cotton. He left that one short.
Great effort by Delhi to contest that. He came from nowhere. We've all seen what Delhi's prepared to do to get a win. And Ian Clark, good Lord.
A 30-piece when it matters most for Ian Clark. And Melbourne's lead is 5. Doolittle fouled, and then Dellavedova went for extras.
I think it was a reflex action, trying not to let him get the and one, even though the play was dead. No, No question about the foul, but it's the second action. So there's the foul, and then just the swipe at the ball when the whistle had already been blown. So there's the foul.
Christian Doolittle ain't been here long enough to understand that that's just typical Delhi. You're going to get some physical play. He put his hand up, said, yep, I fouled you.
Well, clearly he didn't want the N1. So he gathered the ball right there, and the foul had been earlier, whether or not it was going to be a shooting foul or not, but Dellavedova wanted to make sure that he didn't make it.
And good job by Christian Doolittle just to hold his poise. Don't do nothing silly. Get yourself unsportsmanlike.
There was contact after the whistle went extended on the play.
No N1.
His initial reaction didn't go any further. It's okay.
So standard foul. Perth ball from the baseline with 1:50 remaining. In quarter number 3, 84-79. In this epic playoff series between Melbourne United and the Perth Wildcats. Webster back out for Henschel. Got rid of Dellavedova and drains the 3.
This is that small ball lineup. Benny's out there. Nice little extra dribble. Get himself some separation.
Back to 2, the difference again. This time Henschel with his hands full defensively. White lost it. A little momentum shift in favour of the Wildcats. Windler got to a nice spot and ties it up at 84.
Oh, Dylan, you ain't telling us you was ambidextrous. When he gets into the key, that's like his second or third little righty.
And a little hush goes over John Cain Arena. Just as United were making a run, Perth answer back. They've scored off their last 2 trips down the floor. Oh, Windler from real deep. Perhaps a little too deep.
2-for-1 situation. Tie game. I know it's early. We got a quarter to go, Jack, but damn it, overtime would be lovely.
We haven't had it. We've had everything else between these two in the series. Melbourne have won 5 of their last 6 games against the Perth Wildcats. Perth winning big, though, on Saturday night at home in front of the Red Army. We'll be watching on from the other side of the country right now. Second chance for Melbourne. Jack White in the 3rd quarter with another big knockdown. Henschel with the last look. It's Melbourne who lead by 3 with a quarter remaining. At the end of this, one team will be in the championship series and the other will be watching on.
Well, it's win or go home now or never for these two teams. Melbourne United lead the Perth Wildcats 87-84, leading into the last quarter here. It's been a scoring like you've never seen it before. Damon Lowry, which one of these teams has what it takes?
Hell if I know, Case. I got no idea. I'm watching a team in the Melbourne United make 16 threes, and they got 16 twos. I mean, 50% at this stage in the game. It's just incredible shooting. It's going to come down to probably the last possession, Drew. I got no idea.
We saw Mark Arena, Drewy, the owner of the Perth Wildcats, watching on. He's so nervous. He's off Twitter at the moment, which is very rare.
Oh, he's a big X user, is he?
He loves it. In a good way. He's fantastic on social media. Wagstaff short. Henschel gets after it. Not daunted by the moment at all. Ben Henschel for Christian Doolittle, who has 29.
It is, and some of the decisions that Dean Vickerman's made in his substitutions has been a little surprising, like he had Clark and Golding off at the same time, but I think it's about preserving some energy for this moment as well, this last quarter, because it has been labour intensive for both these teams at the pace at which they're playing.
Henschel left open. Has a look and jumps out.
You got to just about pass out these days now, Drewy, to come out the game. I mean, this is the way this game is going. You just can't be putting your hand up calling for a sub.
Shot clock at 8 for Dellavedova, who's got Cotton on the low block. White for 3. A nod of the head. And Saturday night was nothing but a distant memory.
Jack said he was a knockdown shooter. He called it. 4 of 6 from downtown. And he's quietly up to 15 points and 8 rebounds. Good kick out by Delly.
Yeah.
No hesitation by Jack.
Well, you see on that Amy replay that we didn't need to come that extra third man into the help. They already had a help guy there and just crowded the paint and left it wide open for White.
Cotton was well and truly fouled.
So now, instead of having Bryce run ball screens, they put Bryce in the weak side action, and then he comes off the DHO, dribble handoff, ladies and gentlemen, and now Rob Lowe is sagging off, and here we go. And Bryce was held scoreless in that third quarter. And he is now, what is he bringing up now? Where is old Bryce? Bryce on 24 points. This will be a 30-piece of some description.
And you know what, we got to give Jack White a lot of credit, because what would have been going through his head, he would have put a lot of the responsibility for that situation in game 2 with some of those free throw misses. And to come out and be able to bounce back like this says a lot about his character and his strength of mind.
Dellavedova throws a wild one away there. Plays for a foul that wasn't forthcoming.
Okay, they're going to Rob Lowe, and ooh, dodged a bullet. Then he missed an easy one.
White head down at the other end, went bulldozing through, and that'll be an offensive foul. Kelsey Brown, courtside.
Casey, I want to ask you, John really is stuck with about 6 players in both games outside of Almanza coming on for a couple of minutes. Dean Vickerman has played 9 players. He's got a bit of a longer rotation. At what point does that come into play? 6 players have run out 2 semi-finals games.
Yeah. I think it potentially could be a factor. Now, John really just wants his best players on the floor as much as he possibly can. And there have been times when I thought, oh, Dean's just gambling a little bit here with some of his rotations, but I think he was preparing for the way the game is unfolding, and that could hold him in good stead.
42 points to 2 off the bench.
That's incredibly lopsided.
I've seen that box score since the Melbourne Tigers game back in the day.
Yeah, and well, there are different ways of doing it, and I think that I can appreciate the way John really is going about it, because he's had a margin. It's been so close. He's been relying on his main guys, and just at that comfort level and confidence that they're going to keep the scoreboard ticking over, which in this game has been so critical.
Nothing separating these two teams. Clark with a career-high night.
He just came off, he just cut off the screen up the top. Christian Doolittle didn't respect it. And he just kept going and got a layup. That was way too easy.
And that's where you see some of the fatigue. It's a stagger screen away, and the two guys guarding the screen, not respecting the problems of the cutter and the curler.
Desperation from Golding. He kept that ball alive.
And now he's about to get a trail triple.
Melbourne by 3. Golding, as requested.
I saw it coming. You can't fool me, Delhi. Anytime Chris is trailing, Delhi and Shea, they know where he is and they wait for him.
7th made 3 of the night, but Cotton with the answer. Makes it 27 of his own, and it's a 4-point game. What a contest this is. Golding watches Henschel fly by.
Outrageous.
It's happening again.
It's outrageous.
8th made 3 of the night. Bowen goes to ground.
Yeah, he got fouled.
And a foul called late.
Sometimes you just got to shake someone's hand and say, it's too good. This was desperation, trying to guard Chris Golding. First off, there is the ultimate desperation. Henschel's right there, that's in his grill. And off the stagger, Henschel's right there, goes flying by. Windler comes over to offer a helping hand, but it's not good enough.
Cannot stop that man from getting a shot off. Just can't do it. Just literally have to hope he misses.
The playoffs record, 19 made 3s for the night for Melbourne United.
Has a team ever lost a game making that many 3s?
Well, the Wildcats, they've done it in a different way. 10 of 24 at almost 42% is not shabby, but the 19 of 35 in a game-deciding game when you can be a little nervous has been spectacular.
The Wildcats went to the semi-final series last year, were beaten by the eventual champions, the Jack Jumpers. Cotton fouls Clark. 3 free throws to come.
Well, they've only been to the free throw line 8 times, 7 of 8, as opposed to 19 of 21 for the Wildcats. And a lot of that is because the Wildcats have been playing around the paint a lot more and getting in there, not just coming down and settling for 3s. And when you've got 19 of 35, you can see that you sometimes chase a little too hard. And Bryce Cotton on that time just got caught behind, fouls Clark in the act of shooting.
The offense gets real simple now when you got Clark and Golding on the floor at the same time. They're coming off turnouts. I'm still going to call that action turnouts, George, because I'm old school. But you got issues because if you jump out too aggressive, Marcus Lee's going to get a lob dunk.
When you are trailing, you must have help from the screener because they're going to curl like we saw that last occasion. So if you're blocking and you're trailing and you don't get any help, you get exposed for those curl cuts.
Doolittle with Kyle Bowen for a matchup. Fouled and one.
Sorry, Kyle. I mean, you just ain't stopping Christian Doolittle when he gets inside the key. It's just as simple as that. Between the legs, get to his spot and just raise up. I didn't see much of a foul, though.
He got 33, Damon, at a brutally efficient 12 of 19. And he's a perfect 6 of 6 from the free throw line. Some sort of game by him.
He cuts it back to 3. Christian Doolittle tonight has 34 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, and his +6. He has been Herculean.
Earned every dollar he making.
So is Ian Clark.
They're getting whatever they want.
What's a game of centimetres? Bryce Cotton had a hand on that, almost had the steal.
Short.
That's a long way short from Webster. A little nervous. Stuck in his hand a little longer. Melbourne by 5. Dellavedova falls over. Big play from Ty Webster. Henschel scores.
Wow. And just like that, and it just came to me with the help of some very clever minds. The 2006 Sydney Kings hit 20 triples and lost. You're stiff when that happens. They're gonna put Marcus Lee to the free throw line. What's he shooting from the line, Jack?
He's not great.
Not great across the season and not great in the series. Timeout, 101-98 at John Cain Arena.
I like the foul. I like the foul because you're sending a 54% free throw shooter across the season to the free throw line rather than conceding what would have been a relatively easy one around the rim for Marcus Lee. So at this stage of the game, with only 5 minutes remaining, a little over 5 minutes remaining, to send a poor free throw shooter to the rim is better than the alternative. So that was a good decision. First team to either quieten down from the field or somehow or other an error. We saw Delhi just lose his footing and leads to an easy basket.
Would you consider a zone just to change things up?
Not in your wildest imagination.
Drew, they shooting the P1 double 5 out of a man-to-man. What do you got to lose? Maybe you just throw him off rhythm just a little bit.
101-98 at John Cain Arena. Melbourne United lead by 3, and there's Ian Clark with 36 points, which equals his NBA career high.
NBA career high?
NBA?
That is spectacular.
Did you think I was lying to you there?
That's a lot of points in an NBA game. It is very nice, and as I mentioned, that was worth the gamble. Take a swipe, put Marcus Lee, 54% free throw shooter across the regular season and playoffs combined.
2017 for the Golden State Warriors against the San Antonio Spurs, Drew. What were your boys doing on that night?
Thanks. Trying to guard Steph and left Clark wide open.
United by 4. Clark chasing around Bryce Cotton. That's a good look. Got his own rebound.
And Bryce has missed a few of those. They playing extremely hard on the top side, making Bryce cut to the basket. He's got him to the key. Had a few of these, just didn't go for him, but he got his offensive rebound and slightest of contact, if at all.
Are they overplaying Bryce slightly?
Nope.
Here, Damon. No?
Nope. I'm sorry to answer for Damon, but nope. You've just got to try and keep the balls out of his hands. And that's what they're trying to do. Yeah, you're a little susceptible to the back cut, which we saw there. But at least he's not shooting threes.
100%. That's exactly what I was going to say, Jack. Funnel him into the key where big people are.
That's it.
Yeah.
And on the first attempt, they did the right thing. He missed the chip shot. And it was only on the O board.
102-100 in Game 3 of the playoff series. An extraordinary exhibition of this extraordinary league. Henschel to the rack.
Chris Golding with potentially a match-saving block.
Golding went all the way with him. Now Windler with the right hand ties this game up at 102.
Great job by Chris challenging that dunk. Don't tell me you want to win, show me.
And a little connection between Henschel and Golding, a sign of respect by Henschel on Chris Golding with the block. He's way above. Now Chris has got some hops. We saw it in a game against Brisbane earlier on this season. He turned back the clock, but as a youngster, he used to get up there and throw it down with the best of them.
36 years of age, and he went up there with the 20-year-old. Met him at the summit. Gave that look up. Illy with 5 on the clock. Here's Jack White, had a big third quarter. And that one is left short.
Much better job by Christian Doolittle. He saw Chris coming, and he sold out on it.
Doolittle for the lead. Yes! Christian Doolittle! What a performance!
The trust factor. Go ahead, Drewy. This is crazy right now.
It is, and it's a gamble what they're doing, and it's not paying off. Allowing Christian Doolittle, forget the regular season stats where he's from the three-point line only 27%, because in this entire playoff series, he's been extraordinary. 4 of 6 from the line. He's got 37 points. Let's listen in to Johnny.
That's fine. I'm trusting you guys right now. Yeah. Hey, but then Jack White, okay? Because Lee will go at the rim. That's what we got. Offensively, Wag, do. Stack horns. BC, we're playing off for you. Whoever sets the screen, you roll, and then we play with these guys out. Hey, rebound and push it. Rebound and push. Double drag, backcourt coming.
I played 1 year with Johnny in Townsville. It was good toward the twilight of his career, but I'll tell you what, anybody that knows the history of the NBL knows that Johnny really knows all about offense, and this is just, we got monster performances left, right, and center. 37 and 10. Good Lord. Ian Clark on the other side with 36.
Perth trailed by 7 midway through this fourth quarter, and Melbourne had their noses in front. But this Wildcats team will run and gun and stun until the very end. And now it's the men in red with a 3-point lead. Dellavedova getting into the painted area. Can't score. Lee on the glass. Kept it alive for Illy. Golding from deep. Oh, just remarkable.
And Dylan Windler thought he hit it. He thought he made some contact with the shot for the partial block, and it still goes in.
9 made threes for the night for Golding. Cotton cannot be denied.
I can't take it, Jack. We need a commentator's timeout over here. We see Marcus Lee on the other end, keep it alive for Chris to get the 3, and then Bryce just brings up his 31st point.
Clark got his man up in the air. Golding is the man that attracts a crowd. Dellavedova with an easy look into the lane. He locks it up at 107.
Drewy, are you happy with the 4-guard lineup Dave Bickman's got out there? Would you like Jack White back out there?
It might help, but I think he's doing it because his games, it's this small ball that the Perth Wildcats are playing. Oh, that could have been a goaltend. A hint of a goaltend not called.
Marcus Lee swats it out of there and then puts a little extra something on that contact from Wagstaff.
Well, Doolittle thinks it's a flop.
I want to see if this is a goaltend. Okay, so.
Yeah, there is a little bit of flopping. I'm not so sure that they wouldn't be overly disappointed. Again, they send Lee to the free throw line where it's a lottery. It is a lottery when he goes to the free throw line.
50% in this series, 55% for the season.
So you're saying, Drewy, he should have just stayed on his feet to not get that foul?
Well, they didn't want that foul, obviously, but given that it was on Lee, you go, oh, okay, well, maybe I'm not as disappointed as I normally would have been because Lee, as I mentioned,
1 and 2.
Everyone counts right now.
Lives up to the stat line.
I'm coming back with Jack White. I know Marcus is playing some good. Oh, turnover.
Illy all up and in on Cotton. Won it back for Melbourne, and Dellavedova calls for calm. As we roll to the last 2 minutes. Game 3 with a spot in the championship on the line. Dellavedova gets to work and scores.
Huge possession. And Henschel just needs to keep his feet. It's not the time to be testing the officials when it's all on the line.
And that matchup has been good for Delly all series with young Benny Henschel. Delly's going to put his body right into the youngster's chest, which ain't quite fully developed yet. But that turner, he compounded it, Drew. He turns the ball over and then gives up that bucket. But you got to leave him on the floor.
Yeah, and you also got to be conscious of not just being so focused on getting Bryce the action. Doolittle's been spectacular. There's some other options going at Chris Golding. There are some other options out there. Sure, he's going to be a focal point, but if there's any doubt, don't risk those passes to getting the ball.
Similar to Saturday, we've barely seen Keanu Pinder in this second half. 15 points, 5 rebounds. Would you contemplate going back to him down the stretch here, Damon?
Probably not. He's going to trust Jesse out there. If Keanu, he just misses some of those that he probably could have made. And I feel like Johnny might just, he's already got a couple of bigs on the floor. This is kind of a big lineup if you include Jesse. Although Keanu is only, he's a 7 of 11.
Melbourne United fans on their feet. They stood for an entire quarter in Perth on Saturday night, as the home fans try and will Melbourne to the championship series. Doolittle for Cotton. The shot goes astray.
Great job by Delhi.
This is a must.
Held his own on the block with Doolittle.
A must-stop possession for the Perth Wildcats.
36 points for Ian Clark.
Travel.
A deep breath. Drives. What a moment.
Might have got away with a travel at the start of the dribble.
They lead by 5. Lee says no. Golding misses. Perth remain live.
Chris is in total disbelief that he didn't get that call. And right now,
this was the Marcus Lee block from a few moments ago, Drewy, that you weren't sure about.
Yeah, that's a goal team.
Yep. Hit the backboard. Hit the backboard first.
Thought they were reviewable. You go and check, and maybe that's just in the NBA.
We're reviewing the out of bounds. Illawarra and Southeast Melbourne watching on. They'll play tomorrow night. The winner of that game will play the winner of this game, starting on the weekend.
Jack, I think it's important to note that I don't think you'll see a better game of basketball anywhere in the world than what we've seen tonight. This is just a spectacular display by two outstanding teams.
A game that almost doesn't deserve a loser, but there will be one. In 1 minute's time. Illy for Marcus Lee. Perth are forced to foul. And they will happily send Marcus Lee back to the stripe.
Marcus can make it a 2-possession game if he just makes one of them. I like what Dean Vickham has done with those ball screens on defense. He's got Delhi guarding the screener. So when Bryce comes off, he don't have to worry about Bryce attacking one of his bigs, well, the only big he has on the floor.
There is a pulse for the Wildcats with the miss.
5 points is the deficit.
I don't think Johnny would want to burn the timeout right now, though, to advance it. We can't now.
5 points remains the deficit. Must score possession here for the Wildcats. Henschel dragged it back out. Cotton over the top. Who else but Bryce?
Good paces. I thought Benny was going to try to take that on. Good cut by Bryce. They got to get a stop.
That's it. And you don't want to foul here. It's going to send him to the line.
It's the matchup Delhi wants. He's going at the youngster.
Henschel doing his very best to deny Dellavedova, and he does. 20 seconds remaining. Perth down 3. Cotton got open. Here's Doolittle. The stadium holds its breath as he left it short. Cotton got it back. Quick 3. He can't score either. Still alive. One last chance. Wagstaff. Goal! The 6-time NBL champion with one of the biggest shots of his career. Extraordinary.
Are you effing serious right now? This is insane. How many offensive rebounds? Dylan taps it out. Bryce with the extra pass, trusted his teammate, his mate for years, and Jesse rewards him. This is nuts.
Well, it's a strong sense of deja vu. Last year in the grand final series for Melbourne United, and you go back to a couple of years ago in the semi-final series against the Jack Jumpers, a similar fate. Now they still have plenty of time, 3 seconds to get a shot off, which is more than enough time for a catch and rip to the rim, catch and shoot, catch and pass. So they've got some alternatives that Dean Vickerman can go to, and he likes plays at the rim. Don't be surprised to see a back pick and a play at the rim in this situation either.
Not the switch he wanted, but I feel like that it wasn't about Delly in that moment. I don't know, because he's made them before, so.
And he's made them all serious.
Yes, he's made them.
I don't mind the play by Delly. It was a good look. He's been knocking them down. You're 3 points up. I don't have a problem with it. And not able to come up with an O board is probably more the issue that they'll be kicking themselves about.
2.9 seconds left. If not, we head to overtime.
Back pick for Jack White.
Time for something remarkable. Delavan over inside for Golding. Foul!
The same play they beat the Sydney Kings on. The same play they went to during the season. And there's going to be a time up, time out, and a challenge. And now the nerves of the free throw shooter. Have a look at the play. Here it is with the back cut. Ooh, there's a lot of ball. Was their body?
Chris faked it. He faked the back pick.
A lot of ball. I think this is a chance to be
Did he get it
overturned.
I need camera 4, quick.
We need every camera. Did he get the arm?
Got some arm, Drew.
Going to be tough for them to overrule this one.
He got some arm.
What a brilliant play by Dean Vickerman. He knows that they're going to be overplaying Chris Golding. Knows it's coming. It was the same action they did against the Sydney Kings. Instead of the back cut for White, they run the slip and a get to Chris Golding. Beautiful reading of the moment. 2 shots for Chris Golding. The Perth Wildcats need a miracle.
Coach's challenge is unsuccessful. An 87% free throw shooter will be on the line. Scott Butler in the replay centre. Talk us through it.
Guys, camera 3 on the baseline camera angle. Henschel contests the shot, hits the shooter on the right arm. That foul will stand.
Yeah, I think we saw that pretty clearly, Scott. And the disappointing thing for the Wildcats is 0.8 left. John really does not have any timeouts left.
Now you missed this on purpose.
Yep.
Just banging off the rim.
I know, I think you're making it at 0.8. It's a...
He broke their hearts in game 1. Chris Golding has booked Melbourne United into a championship series in a 3-game stoush that, as long as I live, might be the best series this league's ever seen. Melbourne by a point with a second left in game 3. Bloody unbelievable.
Thought we was going to get it overtime. It looked like it was on the cards, but there was no way Chris Golding was going to go to the line and not make one of those.
Wow. I mean, you want to have your time back on a few plays, and there's going to be some stewing over some of the actions in that last 3 or 4 minutes, but in one of the greatest games, I'm not sure yet we can go to the greatest series, but certainly one of the greatest games we've seen in NBL history. Just the shooting sublime, the intensity, and the way in which that both these teams were able to find scoring opportunities.
Is that the last time that we see the 5-time MVP here in the Hungry Jacks NBL remains uncontracted as we stand tonight? And for Jesse Wagstaff, the 6-time champion, is this the last time that he steps foot on an NBL floor? They came so So close, the Perth Wildcats.
One of those games that whoever had the ball last was probably going to win. It just came forth. Perth's effort on the road. Hit a shot with 2 seconds to go to force overtime, which I thought was going to be OT. Good baseline execution, sideline play, and the Melbourne United to the championship series.
Wow, that's 3 times this season they've ran that play. They get it to an elite passer on that baseline, which is, of course, Dellavedova, and they find a way to get it to their man.
And their man tonight was Chris Goulding. He's alongside Kelsey Brown.
He's a serious customer, but Chris Gazy has called this one of the best games you will see in basketball around the world. How do you view that? You're going through to a championship series.
Oh, I mean, Bryce comes out and it's Bryce. They were exactly what we expected all series. They're tough, they're physical, they can score the basketball. But we knew if we knuckled down and won some big moments and rebounded the basketball, we could compete with them and come out with a win. I agree, what a game of basketball, what a showcase for the NBL.
You talk about big moments. I want to ask about Jesse Wagstaff's three-pointer at the end. How did that one feel? And then talk us through your free throws at the end. What's going through your mind when that happens?
My daughter, when I left this afternoon, she said, "Go win the game, Daddy." So that's what was going through my mind then. I'm going to be excited to see her tomorrow morning. But, I mean, Wagstaff, we worked so hard for 39 minutes and 56 seconds to stop him from getting three-point shots. And he comes out and does that. I would expect nothing else.
I want to ask one last thing. This crowd, these fans, they've been with you all year. Do you have anything else to say to the crowd before you go through a championship series? What are you expecting? What are you hoping for?
We appreciate it. You know, we've been dealt some interesting nights. You know, Wednesday night, a Tuesday night, but they come out and they're this loud. Midweek, school, everything. Stick with us, guys. We really want this.
Congratulations. Go and enjoy this win.
Chris Goulding tonight shoots Melbourne United to a championship series, 9 of 12 from outside, and that's after 10 made threes in game 1. In this floor, in this series, he's been incredible. As was Ian Clark, big game player, and Kels tonight was his biggest.
It was his biggest. Ian, 38 points for you tonight. That's an NBL and NBA record for you. How were you feeling out there? It just feels like you were seeing the ring like a hula hoop.
Just want to be aggressive and win the game. Whatever it takes to win the game. Everybody on our side was telling me just to keep being aggressive. And that's what I did. And luckily, it worked out for us today.
You're going through to a championship series. Last year, such a disappointment off that one. How much redemption do you want?
We talked about it early in the year, but right now, it's a new season. We just want to make sure that we keep building out the momentum we have right now. We still got things that we can get better at, and that's the scary part. You know, for us, but we know we can get better. So that's what we're looking forward to this next series.
You talk about your partner in crime, Chris Goulding. He was so impressive again tonight. 41 points in game 1, 30 points again tonight. How impressive is he as your captain and a teammate?
That's what he is. He's our captain. He's our leader. And we need him every game. And it's so much. I get so much confidence from him because he tells me to keep doing what I do tonight. But I love seeing him shoot the ball, and I know it's going in every time, so we needed him.
We absolutely love watching you play. As I said, a record for you, NBL and NBA, 38 points. Well done. Enjoy this win, and all the best for the Champ Series.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
That was, you two have been in this league for a long time. That was one of the most remarkable games of basketball this league has seen in a long, long time.
I'm wore out. I am totally spent. Yeah, just in awe of the shot making, backs to the wall, and yeah, big time players showing up in big time games.
Well, that's the thing, and when you consider Melbourne United and what they had to endure after really giving one away, they should have won in that game too, but you've got to give the Perth Wildcats a lot of credit. They came in here and executed magnificently and took it right up to Melbourne United with their superstars stepping up as well.
Melbourne are into the championship series and they will play the winner of Illawarra or South East Melbourne. We're going to come back with Felix Coates and Halls with thanks to basketball.com.au and wrap it up on the other side of this. What a night.